not a good football team, but then rallied, not only made the playoffs, became the first 7 seed to win a playoff game by demolishing the Cowboys and nearly beating the 49ers. And what did they do in the offseason? Xavier McKinney, make that safety unit a whole lot better. Jordan Love, highest paid quarterback in the NFL, went and got Josh Jacobs. We lost Aaron Jones. We don't talk about what team that he went to. Meanwhile, the Eagles, they made some big additions as well, or more importantly, subtractions, getting rid of both their coordinators, going, shoring up that second.
All you have to do is play good for half a season, and you get to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. Absolutely atrocious, dude. If it was Brock Purdy, man, people would be up in arms.
And also getting Saquon Barkley. Now, this game is getting a ton of buzz, and it's not just because of the two teams that are playing. It's because it's being played in Brazil. It's the first NFL game in South America, and I know there's a whole lot of garbage going on. I went to Sao Paulo in June. It was an amazing time. It's a very, very large city, but I am so excited for the Brazilian fans to be able to experience this. Unfortunately, they just won't be able to tweet about it since Brazil got banned from Twitter.
Thanks, Elon. I'll always call it Twitter.
But honestly, this is going to be a great game. You look at the secondary of the Eagles, and that was their weak point last year. And of course, just having Matt Patricia on the team. On top of that, they got rid of Swift. They brought in Barkley. I imagine their run game is going to be really good. They have no shortage of talent at receiver.
Forrest says, hot take, DK Metcalf, top 5 wide receiver, and Jennings does good and gets traded to New York Giants. No. No. We would keep Jennings next year. We just signed him an extension. So maybe the year after that we probably would, but we got him for 2 years. This year and the next year for sure. For shizzle. But I hear you.
And it's going to be a really tough matchup for the Packers. The Packers secondary is going to be put to the test almost immediately. And with a brand new defensive coordinator in Jeff Hafley, I can't think of a better challenge against an NFC contender. I imagine the Packers are going to try and establish the run, which is going to be tough against this Eagles front. But if they can get Josh Jacobs going and utilize those receivers and take advantage of that secondary, including Mitchell, who is a rookie, though I imagine he is going to be.
He's going to give the Packers the W here. And I don't think the Packers win this game. I think the Eagles win this game. So I got the Eagles winning this one. But he's going to say the Packers.
Very good. The Packers have a pretty good shot at winning this game. But it's all going to come down, I think, to the Packers defense and if they're able to contain the weapons that the Eagles have. And I say the Packers are going to stun the world. And the Green Bay Packers are going to get the win, defeating the Philadelphia Eagles. And if not, I'm going to blame jet lag. Following that, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the...
All right, so he's got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Atlanta Falcons. I've got the Falcons winning this one. I think this is the year the Steelers do not make the playoffs. I think it's the year their luck runs out. This is it. Russell Wilson is not that guy. This is it, dude. Steelers are not going to be good. They're going to lose a lot of games. They're trying to get Shador, maybe Travis King, something like that. They only have one wide receiver right now in George Pickens. Frymouth, maybe Darnell Washington, sort of. But even them drafting like 2 or 3 offensive linemen, they're injured all over the place. Falcons are just ready to go. The only thing that's stopping the Falcons right now is their coaching staff. Their coaching staff is good. The Falcons are Super Bowl contenders. The Falcons are winning this game. Like I'm going to say 17-16 Steelers. And then the Falcons are going to score roughly 35 points. So I think it's going to be like 35-17 Falcons. That's my prediction. 35-17 Falcons. Just on top of my head. Jennings or Zay Flowers. I see Zay Flowers going to the Giants. I can see that. Jennings is a lock of – yeah, he's 3rd and 1, man. He's 3rd and 1. Juan is going to be – he's going to live and die with the dynasty of Debo, Kittle, Fred Warner. He's going to – when they go, Juan will go for sure. We got Falcons in Super Bowl versus Kansas City 6 months ago, and they got Simmons and Judon. I know their team is loaded. All that needs to happen. Kirk Cousins can win you a Super Bowl. I think he can win you a Super Bowl. Is he a top 10 quarterback? No, I think he's like between 15 and 10. He's somewhere in between there. And I think you can win a Super Bowl with that kind of quarterback. And if he could play like that, especially play how he played before the Achilles tear last year, where he was on an MVP pace, if he could play like that, and the coaching staff is good, team is definitely going to win a Super Bowl. Team can win a Super Bowl. Yeah, Kirk needs it, man. Kirk needs it. Kirk needs it. You're right. Mike Tomlin's is going to be fired after this year. Maybe him and Gruden can join up on his podcast. Oh, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't like Gruden. I don't know. I hope Gruden's podcast fails by the time that happens. But it's possible, you know.
Atlanta Falcons. The Steelers. They had an insane offseason, which for Steelers fans are like, wait, hold on one second. Kenny Pickett, gone. Mason Rudolph, gone, going to Tennessee, though I know that was a little bit upsetting. Instead, they got 2 brand new quarterbacks in Justin Fields and also Russell Wilson.
Dude, they got quarterbacks, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. The flex, yo, the flex.
Who the Broncos are basically paying for. They also got
Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator. It's Bum City over there in fucking Pittsburgh.
Arthur Smith and all of his former players somehow made the final 53-man roster.
Become a game day genius. See all the NFL action every Sunday.
I don't get told for ads.
Hi, I'm accident.
Hi, I'm accident attorney, blah, blah, blah.
There.
Of course, the Steelers also poached Patrick Queen from the Ravens, so should make that defense pretty darn good.
Their defense did get better, the Steelers. I'll give them that. Their defense got better with Roquan Smith. That's like a crazy backstab. I can't believe Roquan Smith did that. Like, I guess it's possible. I don't know the whole story behind it, but if Roquan Smith went there with the intent of being a Raven, that is crazy backstabbing, dude.
A defense is almost always good. And the Steelers are just an enigma, right? They could have the most garbage team, and yet Mike Tomlin is going to drag them to a winning record. And last year, they still went 5-1 within the division. I don't know how much I really believe in their quarterback play because I don't really believe in Justin Fields or Russell Wilson at this point. But I think they're going to have a strong running game with an upgraded offensive line, and they're going to need it taking on the Atlanta Falcons, the revamped Atlanta Falcons, who went all in and got Kirk Cousins this past offseason.
He's going to say, I think he's going to give Falcons the W.
And then drafted a quarterback. Yeah, we're still going to bring it up because it's still pretty funny because
he's going to say the Falcons.
It just is. And the Falcons, they're eyeing the NFC South divisional title. And you got to hope that after all these years, Kyle Pitts is finally going to have that breakout season. Bijan Robinson, after having a good season last year, is going to be utilized even more because they have really good weapons in Atlanta. They just needed a quarterback and a coach to utilize them. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, and I think he'll be able to get the ball to guys like Kyle Pitts or Drake London, and they should find success in a weaker division. However, I don't think this game is going to be a walk in the park for the Falcons. I went back and forth on both of these teams. The Steelers, with their defense, I think might be able to contain the Falcons. And if it was being played in Pittsburgh, I probably would pick the Steelers. But because it's not an AFC North game where just pandemonium occurs, I'm actually going to go with the Atlanta Falcons here. They have a much higher expectations, and I just
2-4-2, baby. Let's go. Let's go, man. Your boy's on fire, man. I didn't make bets. I need to make bets, dude. I have just been on fire with predictions, man. I've been right all year. I'm nailing this here. Let's keep going. I'm 2 for 2, baby. Let's go.
Just think all the weapons that.
As a Gators fan, Pitts is elite, says Milwaukee. Yeah, I agree, dude. I love Pitts in college coming into the draft. I wanted the 49ers to trade for him so bad. Like, just throw him a second-round pick, and let's get Pitts out there.
They have should be enough to beat the Steelers. However, I expect this could be a very, very ugly game. But Atlanta, you start out with a W. Following that, you got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the...
All right, this is my game. This is my game right here. People got the Bills and the Cardinals. I'm saying the Cardinals beat the Bills. The Bills got worse. Their number one wide receiver is a rookie wide receiver. The running back is James Cook. Okay, he's okay running back. Tight ends, Kincaid, they're okay. Their defense is not very good. I've got the Cardinals, man. Cardinals are going to win this game. And a shocker, Cardinals. But he's going to say the Bills. He's going to say
Buffalo Bills. The Cardinals looking to have a much better year than last year, in which Kyler Murray wasn't there for half of the season. And on top of that, it was just not really fun to watch, though it was fun watching them beat the Cowboys and the Eagles. I did enjoy that. The Cardinals are one of my dark horse teams this year that they could potentially make the wild card. I think while they still have some holes on their roster, they have a pretty solid squad. Jonathan Gannon, I think, did a nice job coaching them last year, and they were competitive 100%. For a while against better teams. On top 100%. Of that, Kyler Murray back with a better offensive line and Marvin Harrison Jr., some people to actually throw the ball to. It should be better. I'm not saying they're going to be world enders or anything like that, but it should be an improved Cardinals team. They're taking on the Buffalo Bills, who lost a ton of people during the offseason, though a lot of them were veterans or guys who just weren't producing as much.
Okay, so I changed my pick. He's going to pick the Cardinals to win.
Or were injured, looking more on that defense, and of course, Stephon Diggs getting traded away. But if you could just look up a stat sheet, he didn't really do anything for the last half of the season anyway. And for the Bills, yeah, fans are just putting all of their faith in Josh Allen.
This is all I got.
And as they should, Josh Allen is a very, very good quarterback. And I think that regardless if you call it a rebuild or a reload, Josh Allen is going to be able to will that team to win some games. They had a top 10 offense and top 10 defense in just about every category last year. And this Bills team, I think, is still going to be really solid.
However, they didn't play very many good teams last year. That's probably why. So let's go back and look at their team. I don't think they played that many good teams. Bills schedule 2023. They played. I don't think the Bills played that many teams. 2023. All right. They played against the Jets week 1. Okay. And that was against Zach Wilson, and they lost. The Raiders, they beat the Raiders defense, which wasn't very good. They didn't have Jack Jones at the time. I love Jack Jones, by the way. He's a bit of a douche, but he's a good player. Then they play against the Washington Commanders, who's not a very good defense. So that's 1, 2 bad defenses. Dolphins, okay. Jags, they're all right. Giants, terrible. They barely beat the Giants that game. All because I believe – I can't remember who got held in that play, but the Bills should have lost to the Giants. Patriots defense technically wasn't bad last year. They lost to the Patriots. So they got 1, 2, 3 games so far where like the defense is terrible. Broncos, they lost to the Broncos. That's 4. Eagles were not very good defensively last year, so I would say 5. I didn't think they have very good defense. Chiefs had number 1 defense. They've won that game. Credit to them. Cowboys are chokers. Chargers and Bills, their defense was terrible last year, so that's 6 or 5. Patriots had good defense. Steelers had good defense. Okay, so they had about 5 or 6 games. You could argue that the stats were padded probably for the defense. So about 5 or 6 games. All right, there's a few comments here. Sorry about that, guys. There's that. Falcons, woo! Anyway, it says you're the light of the world. Anyone could be like Jennings. Juwan Jennings. Bills, I can't believe this is even a question. Dude, brother, it's going to be the Cardinals. Watch, dude. Watch. It's going to happen.
It sucks that Matt Milano is out because you just want to see him play because he's a damn good football player, and he's really damn good for that defense. However, they didn't have Matt Milano last year either. So besides figuring out who their wide receiver 1 is going to be, if they could utilize a healthy passing and run game, the Bills should be just fine. I do think that they're going to knock off the Cardinals here in what could be.
He picked the Bills. I should have kept with my fucking pick. He was talking up the Cardinals pretty well there. All right, so I'm 2 for 3 right now, guessing his predictions. But I think the Cardinals take the dub here.
A very close game being played in Buffalo and having Josh Allen, I think is going to be too much for the Cardinals to overcome. And so the Bills, they get the W. And then, this is a tough one. You got the Tennessee Titans taking up.
All right, and for people who are watching, let me know who you guys got in these games as well. I'd like to hear it, especially people who watch later as well. And be sure to sub if you like the content. If you haven't already, like the videos, of course. But yeah, let me know what your predictions are in these games. I'd like to hear it. For me personally, against the Titans and the Bears, God, I like what the Titans did this year. I know I joked about their wash jerseys or whatever, but that aside, their team is relatively really good. And if Levis could be just, decent, if he could be like a top 15 quarterback, I guess the Bears, God, they got better too, though, man. They got better too. This one's a tough one. Actually. Do I believe in the Titans? Do I believe in Caleb Williams getting the W? I did see a record where first-round draft picks, number 1 overall, is 14-1. So the number 1 draft pick has never won their first game. The Titans can do it. But if Caleb Williams is generational, if he's this guy, but here's another thing. Other number 1 overall picks have never been set up as good as Caleb Williams has this year. He's got who's the guy running back? I can't remember the running back for the Bears. Bears running back. DeAndre Swift. He's not bad. He's okay. I'd say he's about a top 10-ish running back. So they got a top 10-ish running back. They've got like multiple number 1 wide receivers on the team. Adunze, Allen, and DJ Moore, dude. They got a solid offensive line. Caleb Williams has been set up better than any other number 1 pick. I'm going to say Bears. I'm going to say the Bears win it. I think Caleb breaks the stigma of the number 1 overall pick just because he's set up really well. The Titans, I don't know if I really believe in their coaching staff. I don't know. I think the Bears got this. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be like a close game, like 28-32 Bears or something like that.
On the Chicago Bears. And this is a perfect matchup because the Titans are getting absolutely no hype and the Bears are getting all the hype. So it might wind up just being an even matchup.
You may look around and see 2 groups here. White collar, blue collar. But I don't see it that way. And you know why not? Because I am collar blind.
You have the defense of the Titans, which is going to be pretty damn solid. Will Levis, who is unproven, but you like what you saw last year. Their offensive line was abysmal last year, and you got to hope that's going to be better. Bringing in a new coaching staff, I really love the offseason that the Titans have. They brought in Pollard, who I'm not the most excited about, but I love Spears, and I think he could have a really, really fun season. And looking at the Titans on paper, I think they've made enough adjustments that they're not going to be the worst team in the league. I know that's a really low bar, but I think that they're going to be really competitive. And I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for the Bears here. Meanwhile, the Bears, you know what they've done. They went and got DeAndre Swift. They drafted Caleb Williams. They got Rome. They got Keenan Allen. This is the time for the Bears. Their expectations are through the roof.
This is the time. I agree. This is the time. He's going to pick the Bears. He's going to pick the Bears.
And Bears fans, just like real talk, you need this one. You need this to work out. And I think this is going to be a really tough game. Being played in Chicago is definitely going to give the Bears an advantage because that crowd, I imagine, is going to be insane. And Caleb Williams, I imagine he is going to play pretty well, but he's also going to make mistakes. And that Titans defense, they may get after him. However, the Bears defense is nothing to slouch at either. Looking at Montez Sweat, after he got traded to the Bears, that defense got way, way better. And Eberflus, being a defensive guy, I'm going to actually give a slight edge to the Bears. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I would not be surprised if the Titans wind up winning. However,
Eberflus actually last year, I know the Bears got a lot of shit for this last year, but the Bears had like a top 7 defense last year. They actually had a pretty good defense. So if they can figure out their offensive woes, this team could be deadly, actually.
Unfortunately, I'll give this one to the Chicago Bears.
It really matters.
Following that, you got the New England Patriots taking on the Cincinnati.
Oh, let it be known, guys. Let it be known. I don't know if you guys know this. To anybody who watches this, Larry Krueger, San Francisco 49ers content creator, Larry Krueger thinks Caleb Williams will be a bust. He said flat out bust. Straight up said, and I quote, "He sucks." take that for what you will, but that's a huge gamble, especially with what Caleb has to work with. All those weapons, man. That is ballsy. The cojones. The cojones. This is like my top two. Who cares about this outcome? What, Patriots versus Bengals? You got the Bengals, obviously. Bengals are win this game.
Bengals. The Patriots.
Listen to this.
They got Drake May. That Joe Burrow back in win this game. It's being played at home. Joe Burrow is back, and I think you're going to be able to handle whatever the Patriots offense throws at him. So because of that, Kitty goes meow. Bengals win.
We already knew.
Ooh, this next game is going to be spicy. Yeah.
The Texans versus the Colts. Give me the Texans, man. The Texans are stub. I love D'Amico Ryans. I do like the Colts. I can't remember the head coach's names for the Colts. I'm completely blanking it right now. Let me double check it. I should know it. Colts head coach. Shane Steichen. Yeah, I don't believe in the Colts this year. They're gonna suck. All right, so give me the Texans, 110%.
Got an AFC South rivalry between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. This was the Week 8.
But you can say the same thing for the Bengals and Patriots. You already know who's gonna win that one.
Team game last year, which sent the Texans to the playoffs, also had them win the AFC South. The Texans would, of course, go on to beat the Cleveland Browns and then lose to the Baltimore Ravens. And this should be a really, really fun game. The Texans, they are getting overhyped to the moon, and you can see why. CJ Stroud was real good last year, and I imagine he's going to be talking down a little bit to Anthony Richardson.
I've become more powerful than any Jedi.
Much to learn, you still have.
What is that edit?
For the
Can't have ads. What is that edit?
Big swing in the 2023 draft by getting CJ Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. But they also added guys like Stephon Diggs this past offseason. They kept guys like Dalton Schultz to keep that consistency. Oh, and they also have really good wide receivers. So this Texans offense should be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
They're taking on the Colts, and with the Colts, expectations are pretty high here as well. Anthony Richardson, we barely got to see him last year, unfortunately, due to injury. He's ready to go. And there's a lot of question marks about Anthony Richardson. He's either going to be the greatest of all time or he's going to be a bust. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle, and he's probably going to struggle for a bit at first, but I'm excited to see him play. Jonathan Taylor back for a full season, no more contract issues or anything like that. Michael Pittman Jr. is phenomenal, really emerged last year as the wide receiver they've been waiting for, and they even added a fantastic pass rusher during the draft. And so the Colts, I don't think, are going to roll over here, and being played at home, it's a divisional matchup. This is going to be a pretty close.
I absolutely love the pass rusher that the Colts got. I love Liatu Latu. He was my favorite pass rusher in the entire draft. I think he's going to be really good. Hopefully he does really well at the Colts, but he just so you guys know, he was my favorite pass rusher in the draft. He had like a neck issue or whatever, but my God, his get off was he's incredible.
Game. I am going to give the edge to the Texans just because they are a little bit more proven with CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. He hasn't played in a while, and so because of that, the Texans get the W here, but don't expect a pretty game. Following that, you got the Battle of Florida, man. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Miami Dolphins, and both these teams choked away their.
All right, so Jaguars versus Dolphins. My prediction for me, I think the Jags are going to win this game. I think this is one of the upsets. I know some people are going to say the Dolphins. I just got a vibe, man. I got a feeling that the Jags, this is it, man. I'm not saying that the Dolphins are bad and they suck, but sometimes we lose games that some people think people are going to win. They should win. And I just think that the Jags are going to get off hot and the Dolphins are going to get off slow. I think the Dolphins are feeling themselves just a little too much. That's all. And I think the Jags are ready to prove something. So I got the Jags in this game. And I feel like I'll be the minority when I say that. I don't have much of a case. I just think it. He's going to say the Dolphins. So let's see if I'm correct. He's going to say the Dolphins.
Their divisions last year.
Oh, look at him joke! Oh, look at him him suffer.
The Jaguars, they had it all. Trevor Lawrence gets beat up. Christian Kirk gets beat up, and everything just falls apart. But they should have won the AFC South last year. They basically pulled what the Titans did the year prior. Then you take a look at the Dolphins. They had the same thing, except good old December football came a-knocking, and they came a-falling down. Still made the playoffs, but lost to the Chiefs in an ugly, very, very cold game. And for both these franchises, I feel like this year is a pivotal year. They both extended their franchise quarterbacks, putting a lot on the line there. And I think you just want to see better play from the entire team and more consistency. You definitely want to see it from Trevor Lawrence, and I think Christian Kirk being back is going to help tremendously. That defense, I definitely want to see improve too. They also went out and got Mitch Morse, who I think is a great addition to that offensive line. And for the Dolphins, we know that offense is absolutely insane. Can that defense step up and win them some football games? It's going to be a fun season trying to figure it out. And this is going to be a great matchup and a tone setter for both teams. However, I am going to go with the more high-powered offense here, even though I really like the Jaguars. I am going to go with the Miami Dolphins here. I think they can just put up more points than the Jaguars if this turns into a shootout.
6 or 7.
So because of that, I'm rolling with Tua. Dolphins win. Following that, you have an NFC South matchup between the Carolina.
I've been wrong about one so far. I got this guy figured out, man. I got this guy figured out. Anyway, next up, we got the Panthers versus Saints. This is going to be interesting just because it's like the bottom of the barrel players on top of mystery. Like, is Bryce Young actually going to take the leap? Is Derek Carr actually a good quarterback? The Saints defense isn't bad. The Panthers, though, got better, I think, this offseason. No, they did lose Brian Burns. I guess you got to give me the Saints. I guess the Saints here. I'm going Saints. I want to believe in the Panthers for some reason, for some odd reason, even though that their owner is a piece of shit. I want to believe in the Panthers, but I'm going to go Saints here. I got Saints, and he's going to say Saints.
Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. Ugh. Panthers fans are entering this season with very little expectations.
There's no meaning to any of this, so I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join.
Panthers fans got beat up last year because not only did their season not go well, but they didn't even get to draft the first overall pick because that went to the Bears when they traded up to go get Bryce Young. So that's really not so good. But bringing in Canales, I think that this is going to be the best shot for Bryce Young. He did look good in that Packers game against Joe Barry. Yep. So you'll always have that. But we'll see if they can actually develop him into a good quarterback. On top of that, they finally got him a little bit more support, helping out with wide receivers, which they basically had none besides Adam Thielen last year. And while they did lose Brian Burns, when it comes to the Panthers, what I've been saying all offseason, you just need to figure out if you have a franchise quarterback. It might not be a pretty season, but if you get that answer one way or the other, at least you know. They're going to be taking on the New Orleans Saints, who honestly just feel like they're running on a treadmill at this point. The Saints, I think, are going to be a pretty middle-of-the-road team. Their defense is still going to be really solid. Derek Carr just doesn't give me a ton of inspiration. However, I love Chris Olave. I'm sure Kamara is going to play well. And the offense can definitely put up points. It's just going to be, can they do it consistently enough? And can you get really good play out of Derek Carr to be more than just a middle-of-the-road team? I think the Saints will do enough to be able to beat the Carolina Panthers, and so they'll get that week 1 win out of the way. And if they don't, well, then it might be a longer season than Saints fans thought.
Saints are
following that.
Speaking of underrated, it's kind of hard, and I understand why you fell in the draft because it's really hard to get rid of that stigma, and a perception matters, especially as a quarterback. And if Rattler even has a little bit of an ego, it's going to be under the microscope like tenfold. I think Rattler is actually a good quarterback. I think he's highly underrated. I think the moment Derek Carr's out, Spencer Rattler comes in. Spencer Rattler's going to take that job. I think they got a starter in Spencer Rattler. The only thing is, every time I think about him, I still think about how much of a douche he was to his fellow teammate in high school. And that's the problem. It was high school. You got to learn. And he probably did from that. But it's just crazy how that plays in your head. And you're thinking, like, what a douche. What a douche.
You got the purple incarnation of Satan, the Minnesota Vikings, taking on the New Jersey Giants.
Well, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, if J.J. McCarthy was in this game, if he didn't hurt his knee, I'd give it to the Vikings. Well, the Vikings got worse this year. I don't think they got a good defense. I don't think they're going to be as good. Giants, I actually like their head coach. I know a lot of people might disagree with me on that, but I actually like Brian Daboll as a head coch. He just doesn't have much to work with. GM's absolutely atrocious, and so is his quarterback. And he's just in a terrible circumstance. And he wins games against teams that you wouldn't expect him to win games against, or he'll be competitive with Daniel Jones. So I have a lot of respect for Brian Daboll as a head coach. Who do I pick? Man, neighbors can go off. Justin Jefferson's on the Vikings, and I've seen Justin Jefferson take over games with Nick Mullins. So I'm going to give it to the Vikings. Vikings are going to win this one. Justin Jefferson's going to go off. I got the Vikings.
The Satans. Yeah.
I got the Vikings.
It's been a rough offseason. J.J. McCarthy, they go and draft him. Real excitement there. And unfortunately, then he gets hurt. Rated. The good news is that Justin Jefferson is ready to go. He's extended him, so he's going to be there forever. Yay, so excited. You also went and got Aaron Jones. You got rid of Alexander Mattison, which you definitely needed to do. And that offense should still be pretty good, even with Sam Darnold there. I think Sam Darnold can win them a bunch of games. And that defense under Brian Flores was improved last year. They're taking on the Giants, who their defensive line should be really good. They went and got Brian Burns. However, they lost guys like Xavier McKinney, who was really, really good. And that offense, they, of course, lost Saquon Barkley. And with Daniel Jones, I don't think you can expect a whole lot here. I think this is probably going to be a very ugly game, and both teams are expecting to win this game. And
honestly, I don't think it's going to be ugly. I think the Vikings are going to destroy the Giants. I think it's going to be 30-16 Vikings.
There will probably be some tears. And while the Giants did add some wide receiver help by, of course, getting Malik Neighbors, and you do have Hyatt, who I like, or Wan'Dale Robinson, I just don't know how good this offense is going to be. I'm so sorry, Brian Daboll. And so because of that, I'm actually going to go with Sam Darnold and the purple incarnation of Satan here, which is gross and disgusting. I just think their offense is going to be able to handle whatever the Giants throw at them, even though Sam Darnold might get sacked a whole bunch of times. I think they have enough firepower there. And Giants fans, you could always reminisce about that.
You got the Vikings. Okay.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days.
Smart. Okay, so I am now 8 for 9. 8 for 9.
Before you've actually left them.
Then you got an AFC West showdown between the Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers. The Raiders, they went and got Gardner Minshew after cutting Jimmy Garoppolo loose. They also fired Josh.
I believe in Jim Harbaugh. I've seen what he's done with the team that he just inherits. As long as he has a good quarterback. Alex Smith wasn't the greatest quarterback, but Jim Harbaugh did unlock him and took him to a whole new level. I remember he was complete shit. He was this absolute bust. Jim Harbaugh saved him. And I feel like Jim Harbaugh, for all the doubters out there against Justin Herbert, if there's a head coach out there, or one of them out there that can unlock him, it's definitely Jim Harbaugh. So if Jim Harbaugh can't do it and he doesn't silence the doubters, then I don't think Justin Herbert is that good. I think he's maybe like a top 10 quarterback, but I feel like Jim Harbaugh can unlock his talent. Obviously, I think the Chargers are going to win this game just based on that. I feel like Jim Harbaugh is going to turn this program around, and I think the Chargers are going to surprise a lot of people this year. So I got the Chargers winning this one.
With Daniels midseason last year, thank God. And their defense is looking like it's going to be top 5. They went and got Christian Wilkins, who's going to be paired up with Max Crosby, and I think that defense is going to give opposing teams nightmares. Their offense, Zamir White, Dylan Laube, there's aspects of their run game I'm not totally sure about. We'll see how Gardner Minshew does. He played pretty well with the Colts, and of course, he's still got Devontae Adams, but the expectations are pretty low. The good news is the Raiders are probably going to pack out SoFi.
She doesn't even go here. I'm the team mascot, and boy, am I running late.
If that's not a good edit, I don't know what is, dude. That was good. That was good, Grossi. That was good. Chargers for sure. Respect it. Respect it.
Do you even go to this school?
No.
So it'll basically be a home game. Meanwhile, the Chargers,
That's so funny, dude.
they have been saved. There is no more bad man Brandon Staley to hurt them. Instead, they go out and get one of the...
Instead, the San Francisco 49ers hired that man. But apparently to Diamador Lenore and a couple of other players of the 49ers, they say he's amazing. So maybe it's just a situation where a coordinator is just a better coordinator than a head coach, and that's possibly the case because he was a good defensive coordinator for the Rams, and I think he was the defensive coordinator when they won the Super Bowl. However, he did have Aaron Donald at D tackle this time, but he does have Nick Bosa at edge, so maybe. So, but they had Joey Bosa and the Khalil Mack. Yeah, so maybe he just wasn't a good head coach, and he's just a better defensive coordinator.
Hottest free agents as a head coach, and that is Jim Harbaugh. And it became very obvious what kind of team he wanted to run. While they did get rid of basically all of their wide receivers, they decided to shore up on the run game. They went and drafted Joe Alt. They went and got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. And Justin Herbert, even though he's banged up right now, I think this team is going to be headed in the right direction. Although I don't know if the Chargers are going to be a very good team this year. It's just year one of the rebuild, and I don't think it's going to take insanely long, but it is going to take some time to rebuild that team. The good news is you have your franchise quarterback, you have the coach that could lead you into the future, and those are all good things. However, I am actually going to go with the Raiders here.
Oh my God!
I am just really high.
Dude. That's nuts, man. He picked the Raiders over the Chargers just because the Chargers don't have wide receivers. The 49ers didn't have wide receivers when Jim Harbaugh came in. I guess he had Crabtree, and that's it. He was a rookie at the time. So, I don't know, man. I got the Chargers. Not to mention, I understand they got Max Crosby at the Raiders, but the Chargers have a good offensive line. They have Slater and Joe Alt. Like, are you serious right now? Jack Jones is a good corner, but he's not that good.
On their defense right now, and I think it's going to be able to stop whatever the Chargers throw at them. And while there's a lot of uncertainty with that Raiders offense, who knows? Maybe we'll have some pick sixes, maybe we'll have some turnovers, and I think the Raiders will do just enough to get it done, solidifying that week one win. And Chargers fans, hopefully you just don't Charger it. Then this game should be fun. You got the Denver Broncos taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Broncos fans are so...
What was that whole devious look? The Seattle Seahawks, Brandon Perna. I don't know what the fuck that was. But anyway, I like this game too. I want to know who wins this because we know, and I don't like the Seahawks. I don't like giving them credit, but I got to give them credit when credit's due. The Seahawks just been shitting on the Broncos since their Super Bowl win. Since the Super Bowl of the Seattle Seahawks destroying the Denver Broncos, like, they've just been owning them in trades, playoffs, whatever, name it. You name it. I even think that the Seahawks beat them in a game where it took them out of the playoffs or something like that. I got the Seahawks in this game just because of that. The Seahawks are going to continue to shit on the Broncos. Bo Nix, I believe, Bo Nix looked amazing, but Kenny Pickett also looked amazing in the preseason before we saw him in the regular season. So, do I believe in Bo Nix? Yes, but am I going to just crown him as like a guy who's just going to suddenly win you games? No. But I do like the potential of Bo Nix. I have the Seattle Seahawks winning this game. He's going to pick the Seattle Seahawks too. Watch.
Done hearing from the Seahawks about you-know-who.
We do not speak his name.
Russell Wilson, goodbye. Lots of money, don't care. Just want him off the team. He's on the Steelers now. They got rid of Jerry Jeudy. Well, it's fine because he kept dropping balls anyway. And this Broncos team, I don't think is going to be abysmal, but I don't think they're going to be very good. Their defense, which recovered really well after 70 points were scored on them last year, actually looked pretty good the rest of the season. The offense, you just don't know what they have. Bo Nix, you definitely...
Since Brock Purdy? Yeah, I can see that. because Brock Purdy is currently the most underrated. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. He's going to be compared to Brock Purdy as like people are don't think he's good right now, but he's going to show people that he's actually pretty good. And people are still going to shit on him for it. I know what you mean.
Got a Bo leave, but he's a rookie QB heading into a situation and going up against Seattle, who got a brand new head coach, added guys like Byron Murphy. That defense is starting to look like Legion of Boom 2.0. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks offensively,
did he just say it's starting to look like Legion of Boom 2.0? That's crazy. They would say something like that, dude. They got one good corner. I can't remember the corner on top of my head. Woolen had one good year. They turned out to be a bust. I guess he has a chance to redeem himself this year, but he had a bad year last year. God, who's their starting corner? Oh, Witherspoon. They have one good guy, and that's Devon Witherspoon. And their best pass rusher is what's his name? Their best pass rusher is Leonard Floyd. And their rookie, Byron Murphy, who they drafted, isn't even starting. Legion of Boom 2.0, dude? Stop.
Geno Smith under center once again. While I don't have all the confidence in Geno Smith, he's going to do more than enough to win football games. And if their running backs are able to stay healthy, Kenneth Walker and
I take it back. Just out of spite. I got the Broncos winning this. He's going to pick Seattle, but I got the Broncos winning.
Zach Charbonnet should be really, really good. And you also have some great wide receivers as well. I'm very curious to see what JSN is going to do this year. This game, however, being played in Seattle, I just think the Seattle Seahawks are a better team on paper.
I knew it.
While the Broncos might put up a fight, I think a rookie quarterback going up against that defense is not going to end well. So because of that, I'm going to be going with the Seattle Seahawks.
Knew it.
Sorry, Perna. Then you got the Dallas Cowboys taking on
Browns. Browns are winning this game, 110%. The Browns defense got better this year. Their offense got better this year. The only thing, they had the same thing as last year with Deshaun Watson. They have backup quarterback issues, whatever, but they can still win games with that defense because I can't remember his name, Schwartz or whatever. Very good defensive coordinator. I've got the Browns winning this one. Browns are getting the W here.
The Cleveland Browns. Oh, this is going to be an interesting game. Probably an ugly one, though. The Cowboys. Well, they got one contract finally done with CD Lamb. As for the other additions to their team,
Browns
brought Zeke back. Yeah, that running room does not look really, really good. They still got to re-sign Dak. They still got to re-sign Micah Parsons. But that's okay. That's for you to worry about much, much later. And the Cowboys, they were one of the best teams in the NFC last year. They were the number 2 seed, and that did not matter. And as we've been talking about, and I mentioned in power rankings, for the Cowboys, their regular season, they can look amazing, but until they start winning more playoff games, there's just not going to be a lot of confidence there. Meanwhile, they're taking on the Cleveland Browns, another team who made the postseason last year. However, it was with Joe Flacco. Unfortunately, Nick Chubb is still out starting the year on the PUP list. I hope he gets back soon because he is just great for football. Instead, you're going to see a very good defense, and Deshaun Watson is going to be behind center once again, which at this point, Amari Cooper, do you miss Dak yet?
Let's watch. Give me my predictions right now. Be sure to like the live, man. Appreciate it.
And for Deshaun Watson, I think it's just really difficult to get excited about him because regardless of all the garbage stuff that's happened off the field, looking at his on-the-field play, he just hasn't been great. He has been very mediocre. And unless he can be an above-average quarterback and at least be good, a lot of the wins from the Browns are going to come from the defense or the run game. And for the Browns, like they have weapons on that team. Their offensive line is good. They have the receivers. It's just, can they go toe-to-toe with a high-scoring team? Their defense definitely neutralizes offenses really well, and so they're always going to have a shot. However, the Cowboys' defense is nothing to shake your finger.
Hold up. Samuel says the 49ers are going to lose. We got Trent Williams back, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, CMC, Jordan Mason, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Chris Conley, Pearsall will be back in 5 weeks. I guess there's a night there against Jets. We got Cowan. Barring an injury, no way, dude. No way, bro. The Jets are going to lose. I would hear you if the 49ers still had their doom and gloom going on, if they were still like, oh, super sad, I would see that. But the vibes the 49ers right now in that locker room is absolutely amazing. Nah, dude, the 49ers are going to destroy the Jets. I have never been more confident. Brock, it's like prime time. Kirk, what are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Nah, dude. Brock Purdy is our playoff games, not prime time. Our playoff games, not prime time. Is that not the biggest stage? He did it against the Green Bay Packers. He did a huge comeback. Boom. He did it against the Lions. Boom. He went to overtime against the Chiefs. Okay. And then the year before, he won his playoff game against the Cowboys his rookie year. And then who did we beat? The Seahawks, I think, in the wild card. Way better than Kirk. Brock Purdy has done more than Kirk has. Threefold. But yeah, let's get back to the predictions. So that's my response to that. All right, let's get back to predictions.
They were really
Browns
damn
versus
good
Cowboys.
last year, and I think they're going to be able to contain Deshaun Watson. And even though the Browns defense does impress me a little bit more than the Cowboys,
right.
I do
That's
think
right,
that Dak
Papa.
and CeeDee
That's
Lamb are going
right.
to be able to at least score some points. And so because of that, even though I think this is going to be an ugly
That
game,
sounds
and I
like,
would
nah,
not be
man.
surprised if the Browns won it
That's real
all,
news. I'll see
I'm
you
going to go with
after
the
the game, bro.
Cowboys
I'll
to
see
get
you
the
after the
Week
game.
1 win here.
I'll see you after the game, brother. I'll see you after the game.
Again, I don't think it's going to be pretty. You're going to see two good defenses going at it, and whatever offense can get the upper hand is probably going to win, and that's why I'm going with the Cowboys. Following that, you got the Washington Commanders taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Washington Commanders versus the Buccaneers. Ooh. I know that Samuels and the Commanders are going to destroy him, but I only sit there and think about it. Vita Vea is pretty good. But then again, they got a good center from the Cowboys. I like the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to win this. I like Adam Peters as GM. I like the quarterback. I like the head coach, Dan Quinn. I like the team. I think the Commanders are going to win this game 28-14. 28-14.
The Commanders. You can have hope again. Getting Jaden Daniels with the number 2 pick overall and new ownership. It's an exciting.
Got some comments on. The 49ers own the Cheeseheads. The Jets have the exact same scheme. Yeah. Nathaniel Hackett is their freaking offensive coordinator. Is what they curse like crazy. Yeah. I can't even watch the start of the game because of that football game. Well, good luck, man. I wish you the best, dude. Dominate that game, brother. Be dope. You know? Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts, dude. Know the game, trust your instincts. Know the game and trust your instincts. Start of the Niners game. Yeah, for sure. It's okay. Well, I'm going to go live after the game. For sure. You got the Bucks over Commanders. Dude, I don't know. I think the Bucks are going to get crushed.
Exciting time to be a Commanders fan, which when's the last time you said that? And the Commanders, I think, are going to go through their bumps and bruises this year. But same thing that we've been talking about with other teams who have young quarterbacks. You just got to figure out if you have the guy. The offensive line for Washington, yeah, looking at that tackle position doesn't give me a whole lot of optimism, but at least Jaden Daniels can run. They have good running backs. They still got Scary Terry, and even though they lost Curtis Samuel and Dotson, I think that they will be pretty decent on offense. On defense, they got rid of Chase Young. They got rid of Montez Sweat. So we'll kind of see what that defense looks like this year. They're probably in a little bit of a rebuild. They're going to be taking on the Buccaneers, who stunned just about everybody last year, not only winning the division, but Baker Mayfield played really damn well, including at Lambeau, where he had a perfect passer rating. Yay. And it took a lot of people by.
Who cares, man? Yeah, he played great at one time at a place in the regular season. It doesn't mean that, like, oh, it turns out he's this great player. Nick Foles beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl one time. It doesn't mean that Nick Foles is suddenly a great player and a starting quarterback. It's one game, bro. One game.
Surprised, because after Brady left, a lot of people assumed, including myself, there was going to be a hangover, and Baker Mayfield didn't really work out in Carolina a whole lot, and yet comes in, plays well, and they went all the way to the divisional round. And Mike Evans, he's sitting pretty after his 10th straight season of over 1,000.
Okay, Samuel, I understand that you're a Commanders fan. I get it. But there's times where you got to be logical. Okay, there's times where you recognize that you need to stop and recognize. And what am I saying? Actually logical. Luke McCaffrey was a third round whatever pick. That means his potential was bottom third round. Luke McCaffrey was an 8th overall pick. Okay, that means he's top tier talent. So starting off, Chris McCaffrey is already a better player starting off. Not to mention, Christian McCaffrey is a starter. Luke McCaffrey is not. Okay, he's like the third wide receiver. Then there's all the accolades of Christian McCaffrey, while Luke McCaffrey hasn't done anything yet. So there is zero argument that Luke McCaffrey is better than Christian McCaffrey. Zero argument. Okay, now you're just saying things. There's no way. That's prediction, man. That would be quite the prediction. Barring injury, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, I know. No, well, he's young, so he's defending his team. So I know where he's coming from. I respect it, but there's sometimes there's just certain moments where you gotta be like, nah, brother, it's not happening. Nah, dude, you're not, dude. I'm sorry. Well, we'll see. Hey, you're confident. We'll see at the end of the year, but yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Well, yeah. I mean, you got it barring injury. If the player is hurt, he can't play. And if he's not playing, he can't have more yards or TDs than another player. So, like, you can't use, Luke McCaffrey is better because he played 17 games. Luke McCaffrey tore his Achilles week 2. That wouldn't be fair. Injury prone. CMC is not injury prone. I don't think he's missed a game since he's been on the 49ers. He's missed practice, but he's never missed a game. So, and I'm pretty sure Luke's been hurt too already during this offseason as well. So, but that's ballsy, man. That's ballsy. That's ballsy if you think Luke's better. But I don't think you believe that. I think you're coming from a fan's perspective. Look, because logically speaking, there's no way. Oh, I'm not. It's okay if he's young and he's just defending his team. It's all right. We're having a conversation. So, because if he ever actually wants to take it seriously and actually wants to have a logical outlook on it, and he wants to have a serious debate with somebody, he has an answer. So, if it ever became tiresome or if it ever felt like trolling or anything like that, I would just stop. So, I would take it as that. All right, let's continue. We're done with that. Washington Bucks. I got the Washington crushing the Bucks.
1,000 yards receiving.
You never know.
I'm dead serious right now. And I'm telling you, it's
just unstoppable. And this game could be really interesting, but I am going to go with the Buccaneers here. It is being played in Tampa Bay, and I think they just have a better football team right now. I'm really curious to see how Jaden Daniels look. He looked pretty good in preseason, but now week 1, you have a chance to go out and try to make your name. But the Buccaneers, I think, will have the last laugh.
The
Bucks? And plus, they have a pirate chip. That also gives them points.
He's picking the Bucks? Man, dude, just because he has who's the owner for the Washington Commanders now? I can't remember. Or the one before? Rob Schneider. Is it Rob Schneider? No, that's an actor. Anyway, the bum ass owner, I feel like, just has a stigma against his team. I think the Washington Commanders will be good this year. So it's like saying Jerry Rice better than Jerry Rice. 49 is your favorite team. Dope. I used to wear number 49 was football. That's cool. Dan Snyder. There you go. Dan Snyder. I'm like Rob Snyder. Dan Snyder. Yeah, for sure. So, I don't know. I got Washington win this game for sure. That's my prediction.
Then on Sunday Night Football, you got the LA Rams taking on the Detroit Lions.
I don't even tell you guys, but I'm going to tell you anyway, the Lions are going to destroy the Rams. The Rams are going to get destroyed. The Rams are going to get blown out. I'm going to predict 3 touchdown difference. 34-17. Tops. 34-17. All right, so that's what? That's 2 touchdowns and a field goal? That's my prediction. 17 points. You get smacked.
The Rams, another team who had a shockingly good season last year. You had the emergence of Puka Nacua and pair him with Kupp. Stafford looking good. The offensive line actually looking good. They were pretty damn impressive. They, of course, lost to the Lions in the wild card round, but it was a close competitive game. They did lose Aaron Donald on that defense. However, they did draft another edge rusher in this past draft, and you got to hope that he could be at least.
Luke McCaffrey is better than what the hell are you smoking? 110%, dude. It's keep in mind he is a Commanders fan and he's just defending his team. So keep in mind with everything he's saying with a grain of salt. It's with a grain of salt. He's a Commanders fan and he's young. You see us all in the wild card. Bro, we're going to be the number 1 seed, brother. We're going to be the number 1 seed. All right, let's continue.
One half of what Aaron Donald was, minus the choking part. Meanwhile, the Lions are getting ready to face Matthew Stafford once again.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
And they are one of the most hyped up teams heading into this season. And it's not only about playoffs or the division, it's about trying to win a Super Bowl this year. I talked about this in rankings yesterday. The trenches are great. Gibbs looks like he's ready to go, and his injury not as serious as thought. And this team should be pretty damn good. They added pieces to their secondary, which was their 1 weak point last year. And this team is ready to contend. And honestly, this should be a really, really fun game. This might wind up being an offensive shootout. Exactly. I do hope the Rams get the win because
that's what I was
division rivals. But I see the Lions in a very packed Ford Field getting the win on Sunday Night Football. And yeah, we'll just see you when the Packers play you.
Smart choice,
and then
brother.
Finally on Monday.
Oh my God, who does he pick? The 49ers versus Jets. Who does he pick? He's gonna pick the Jets. But the answer is the 49ers, but he's gonna pick the Jets.
Sunday Night Football. You got the New Jersey Jets taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And just for the sanity of every single Jets fan, I hope that this Monday night opener goes a lot better than last year's.
Dude, check the news. It doesn't matter what channel.
The Jets, rough season last year. Aaron Rodgers out after 4 snaps, and it was just rough watching. However, they were still able to win games.
I knew it, dude. I'm so good at predictions, dude. I need to do the lottery and pick the numbers myself.
Guys like Zach Wilson. And so heading into this year, expectations should still be pretty high because if they don't meet expectations, everybody's getting fired. Hassan Reddick is still sitting out as of recording this video. He owes like $2 million now.
So that is 100% true. If they do not win this year, Joe Douglas is gone, Saleh's getting fired, and then the 49ers are going to rehire Robert Saleh because that would be dope. And then Rodgers is gone. They're going to blow it all up. It's going to be all gone.
That's going really well. But even if he doesn't wind up playing, this is still a pretty damn good football team. Their offense, I believe in Breece Hall. I believe in Garrett Wilson. And I think if Aaron Rodgers is even very good or above average, they're going to do a whole lot better than they did last year because of that defense. They're taking on the San Francisco 49ers, who are dealing with their own contract woes, but they got Brandon Ayuk signed. And thankfully for the 49ers, the holdout with Trent Williams is over as they agreed to a restructured 3-year deal worth $82.66 million. So they won't have to worry about that anymore. But for the 49ers, this is a win it or get the hell out kind of year. They have to win a Super Bowl this year because they have to pay Brock Purdy next year, and that team is not getting any younger. And so for both of these teams, an opening win would be really, really big. And taking a look at this team, I originally went with the Jets. However, one area where the Jets struggled last year was with run defense. Their pass defense, amazing, and I think Brock Purdy is going to potentially have some problems there. However, if they get CMC going...
So the run defense for the Jets is terrible. And we got Christian McCaffrey. Sorry, Grossi, your logic's not, your puzzle is not puzzling. Sorry, buddy.
And they just established the run.
No.
I think the 49ers should be able to win this game. On top of that, we're going to see how good that offensive line from the Jets actually is. And that's just a big old question mark. And so while I do think the Jets are going to be a good football team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game, I just have to go with the experience here and pick the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, let's go.
But let me...
All right, buddy. Good job. Someone told me he picks the Jets. All right, he picks the 49ers. That's good. That's the way to go, brother. All right. Grossi spitting facts. I was going to say what he said made no sense, man. Talking about the run game's bad, and then you pick the Jets. That wouldn't make any sense, bro. All right, cool. That's dope. All right. We're back to liking Tom Grossi. We're back to step one, liking Tom Grossi here. We're back to it. CMC will be Aaron Rodgers 2.0. I don't know what that means. Not gonna lie to you. He's trying to fit a circle into a square, without a doubt. Okay. So those are my predictions. I absolutely do not remember all my predictions, but I can tell you if I saw them, like, for example, I got the Cardinals beating the Bills in an upset. I think the Cardinals are going to be better this year than people think. The Rams are going to lose to the Lions for sure. The Denver Broncos, I'm going to pick the Broncos out of spite, not out of anything logical here, just full disclosure. I've got the Denver Broncos beating the Seahawks. Is there any other big ones that I think is going to happen? I think the Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens. I got the Eagles beating the Packers. Is there any other games that were big that I was kind of against on this one? Raiders, I don't remember the Raiders play, but we'll see. Sub if you like the content, like if you like the video. All love, fam, and I'll see you next video.